Hello, boys and girls, and we are back again to How We Book It. I am the one and only J. Brandon Ingram, broadcasting live to you from chilly Myrtle Beach. It's in the 50s.
Gross.
Yeah.
It's at least 60 here.
Well, I mean, it's been in the 60s and 70s, but it's 7:30 almost. It's starting to cool down a little bit.
Fair enough.
And you are, besides swallowing, this is not OnlyFans, sir.
Yeah, No, I am Christian Ingram. I am a podcaster, a YouTuber, a Twitch streamer, and a TikToker now. I just reached 1,000 followers on TikTok.
I've swore off TikTok after the first one.
I hated it at first, but it's the easiest platform to grow on. So I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot, and it's kind of fun. It's much easier than YouTube. I'll give you that.
Oh, is it now?
Very. I can make a TikTok video in 2 minutes, where it takes me an hour to edit a YouTube video. So why not?
Well, that's good. And we have been absent for a little bit. Everybody's been doing kind of a little bit of everything. I've been working 6 days a week, traveling back and forth when I can to be there with you and everybody else when I can be. And you still working out your new job. You got to do the wrestling thing. You want to tell everybody about that you got to do? Or
I didn't get to do much wrestling thing at Fayetteville. Not as much as I'd like. They did have a good wrestling presence, but I was just so busy. They had it taken care of.
No, the thing before that, the thing I was supposed to help you with, and I had to come back here.
That was a UEW event. I got to help film it, which was pretty cool. Got to see Ace Austin up close and personal. Wrestle.
What's he, like 4'2"?
No, his legs are huge. I ain't even gonna lie. His legs are like that big around. I'm like, Jesus Christ, bro.
I think I told you, back when I was growing up, they always looked bigger on TV than they did in person. And I got to meet Jimmy Valiant, and I'm not sure if you know who the Boogie Woogie Man is.
Boogie Woogie Man. I
mean, he was, he just looked average size on TV. And man, he was one that TV didn't do him justice. His arms were, as with me being a kid, probably as big around as my body. And he was probably, I'd have to look him up. I mean, I might be remembering it wrong because I was a kid, but he looked to me like he was like 6'3", 6'4", somewhere. He was a big dude. He was a lot bigger in person than he looked on TV. So
a lot bigger than the guys wrestling now.
I'm bigger than the guys wrestling now.
What are you saying? You're bigger than Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin?
My thigh is bigger than Orange Cassidy. You know what I'm actually looking forward to seeing?
MJF versus Darby Allin?
No. I'm not a Moxley fan, but I hope to God they let him do to Orange Cassidy what he did to 10 last week. That would just warm my heart.
So while we're recording this, next week, I think it's Wednesday, it'll be Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy in the semifinal of the Full Gear Eliminator World Title Tournament.
Yeah, do you know what a joke that tournament is, though? I know we're supposed to be. It's not that, but I mean, okay. Orange Cassidy, as bad as I hate him or whatever, the fans like him. And I can't remember the last match where he actually got pinned. So, take that into consideration. Okay, put him in there. Of course, you put Danielson in there. Of course, you put Moxley in there. Lance Archer, I can see. Eddie Kingston, I think him beating Lance Archer is the first time I've seen him win a match with a tag team match in forever and a day, but that's nowhere here nor there. But putting 10 in there and, oh God, I forgot who else was in
Dustin
there.
Rhodes.
And Dustin, that's another good example. I mean, maybe if you wanted to do some kind of, put 7 of them in there and have a battle royal or something to get the 8th spot and give it to Dustin Rhodes as kind of a throwback or nostalgia moment or whatever. Okay, we could do it that way. But I mean, all right, just one. I'll throw one out there. Well, 2, I'll throw 2 out there. You're going to sit there and call CM Punk the best in the world and you don't put him in the tournament. I'll just leave that one alone. For another discussion. But then you got Miro, who went, undefeated, killing everybody forever. And he finally lost the TNT title. And you haven't really seen much of him since. I think I've seen him do one promo since he lost the title. But this guy was running through everybody. And you put 10 and Dustin Rhodes in the tournament over that guy?
No, I can see that. As much as I love AEW, and trust me, I love AEW. It's my favorite promotion as of right now. I do get that wasn't a great decision, especially considering he could have beat Kingston and gone to the semifinals or even the finals. So
I would have enjoyed the tournament better the way they did it. They'd have just like, hey, we're putting 16 names in a hat, or Yeah, because it was 8 matches, 16 names in a hat, and we're gonna draw them out. It's random, so we're not going by wins, losses, whatever. You win the tournament, you're the number one contender, whatever. But but to put I mean, like I said, Dustin, you can argue a little bit. I mean, but Cody wasn't in the tournament. Malachi Black was undefeated. I could go
Andrade El Idolo.
I mean, but you got 10 and Eddie Kingston. Come on, man.
No,
I mean, if you're going to give me a tournament, give me a tournament.
I'll agree with you on that because that was a little random. Dustin Rhodes, I mean, he's great. Don't get me wrong, but he's never been a world champion. He's not world championship material. 10 as of right now. Could they change his gimmick up and make him world champion? Take the mask off. He has a look, sure. But as the Dark Order's 10, he's never going to be world champion.
Well, and another thing too, Cody was right on his promo. Dustin's always been better than he was.
What, in the ring?
Yes.
No, he's not wrong. Cody just has the charisma.
No, Dustin has it if he's given the right platform. And I mean, I guess, he's got
Black
more
Rain?
stroke in it. No, not really that. It's just they tried so hard because, if you go back and watch him, they brought him in trying to be Dusty 2.0 and it just didn't work. He wasn't his daddy. But then he goes to the WWE and they give him this Goldust character, which was a take on, some of the names Dusty had used over the years. But, he took it and ran with it. And until, standards and practices and networks come in and made them, pull that character back. I mean, I don't know how many people could have pulled that character off. And Dustin Rhodes did a hell of a job with it. I mean, Goldust was on fire until they were made to pull back the reins on that a little bit. And, so, I mean, you saw they tried to do Stardust with Cody and he just, I get it. I do. They were trying to do whatever. But, Cody couldn't pull it off. And, Dustin did a hell of a job with what he was given over the years. So kudos to the man.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I don't know. Dustin's made things work through the years. So
Goldust and Marlena with her coming out and smoking that cigar and that tight ass gold dress. And she was by far, to me, not my personal opinion. I mean, she was cute. She wasn't the most attractive thing on TV that they had, but she was cute. But coming out in that tight ass gold dress, smoking that cigar and all the like Hollywood cuts they would do and some of the promos he would do, quoting old movies and stuff like that, man, he was on fire. God only knows where that character could have went and how big he could have gotten. Like I said, again, if they hadn't have pulled the reins back, legendary story on it was Scott Hall didn't want to work with him because of the stuff he was doing. And, Scott Hall, call it homophobic, call it what you will, but Scott Hall was just not comfortable with it. That's why if you go back and watch, that feud did not last very long. So,
I mean, anyway. It is what it is. I mean, it was very edgy for the 90s.
Getting me off topic, but it's all good.
Speaking of the gold and the gold standard and the gold of AEW, let's talk about the Golden Boy of AEW.
Pick one.
The only real talent that's been homegrown AEW and might be the first homegrown talent to be AEW World Champion. I'm talking about Hangman Adam Page. And before you say hang on. Yes, he worked in the Indies. He worked in Ring of Honor. He worked in New Japan, but he wasn't a main event player there. He was 6-man tag team champions with the Young Bucks, and he was recently
thank you for saying it correctly, by the way.
What?
6-man tag team.
That's what it says right here on Wikipedia.
Oh, I'm fucking that trio shit that they're talking about. Trios tag team match. I'm like, good Lord, shut up.
Well, sorry. It's AEW. What you gonna do? But Hangman Adam Page he's had quite a run in AEW so far, and he is challenging at Full Gear for the AEW's World Championship after winning the Casino ladder match and returning from a few months hiatus because he had a kid. Understandable. And
I don't know. I thought what happened Wednesday night was him in that damn marshmallow ghost outfit was pretty funny.
Did Brendan send you that gif where he took off the thing and he's like, ugh.
Oh yeah, he did.
I love it. I
was laughing my ass off.
Hangman is honestly one of my favorite wrestlers right now, and he's from Virginia, so we got to support our hometown boy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I like Adam Page. Don't get me wrong, and we've talked about this off camera. Kudos to him. I mean, his interview was, I'm pretty sure that he was being, upfront and honest when he said, on the biggest run of his career, he took off time to go be there for the birth of his kid. And a lot of them won't do that. I mean, and no, he's not, they don't travel the way they used to, but I mean, me being the Flair fan that I am, you've heard his kids talk about how much he wasn't there and what he missed. And, and he's actually come out and publicly said that, when he got home for a couple of days off, it was driving him crazy. He was itching to get back on the road.
He was made for the road life. Some of them aren't like that, especially nowadays.
Like I said, kudos to Adam Page. I mean, whether you win the world title or, this is a thing that, people need to put things in perspective. Like with Adam Page, what he did, if he was to get hurt tomorrow or Wednesday night or whatever and never be able to wrestle again, God forbid, I'm not trying to wish the man any ill will, but, 10 years from now, nobody be talking about it. But, his wife is going to tell his kid that story about did he have a boy or a girl?
Hang on. Let me go down to personal life.
It doesn't matter. But his wife will be telling that kid that, hey, your dad was on fire and the hottest thing in this promotion. And he took the time off to say, hey, this is more important. I mean, those are the kind of things that will last forever, and it might not be public headlines, 20 years from now, but that kid's going to know that his dad, thought he was more important to be there for when he came into this world than being on TV and traveling. I mean, those are just moments you can't replace.
Nope. And I'm impressed with that, but I am glad he's back on AEW TV. And if you've forgotten the name of the show, let me remind you what exactly we do here. The show is called How We'd Book It. And what we do is we take a certain wrestler or event and we give you our opinions on how we would book them. And I think we're going to lead up to Full Gear. Now, we will be at the Dynamite after Full Gear, Jason's first AEW show. My third.
Well, touch you. Yeah.
Well, we tried to get you to come to Fight for the Fallen.
What was I doing? I mean, have you actually sat down? I know you're working a lot now, but have you actually sat down and thought about the schedule I have kept for the past 5 months?
No, it's been pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's to say the least.
A little nuts. So let's talk about Hangman Adam Page. Let's talk about his beginning. He began his career in wrestling in 2008, working on the independent circuit as Adam Page. So he's kept his name throughout the indies. In 2011, he began appearing on Ring of Honor, which he stayed with for 7 years until the year 2016.
Wasn't he part of the Kingdom too? Or
that was Matt Taven and Mike Bennett.
I thought that was the third. We're here nor there. Okay.
Page's biggest claim to fame was he joined the Bullet Club, wrestling's biggest and hottest faction in a long time since arguably the NWO. Disagree or agree?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was there for the NWO and know how hot that was, and there's just right now, since then, I mean, you got kids coming up and still talking about the NWO to this day. Give it 25 years and we'll see if people are still talking about the Bullet Club or the Elite, and then we'll revisit the subject.
The Elite. The Elite.
Beat your meat. Beat your meat. That's what it sounds like to me every time they hit that music.
So anyways, Hangman Page.
And I'm sitting there, right? And I'm sitting in front of the TV like this, singing the song, Beat Your Meat. Beat. I can't stand it.
What did you think of them coming out to the Ghostbusters theme song and it's saying, who you going to call? The Elite.
I don't like them. So I just don't.
I love it.
I'm sorry. I know you. And that's got that they're actually going to have a lot to do with what we're talking about with Adam Page today. I just, if this would have been, 4 or 5 months ago, this would have all happened. And bringing Adam Page back, I would say put the belt on him because the people are ready for it. The people are behind him. They love chanting cowboy shit. And I'll have a point about that in just a minute. But, but now everybody wants to see Danielson versus Omega again. That was a hell of a match they put on TV that night, by the way. And I'm not his biggest fan either. Everybody wants to see these big names coming in wrestle Kenny Omega because everybody's heard, by now, even the people
The
that weren't
7-star
familiar with him.
match.
Yeah, everybody that knows about him knows that. The people that haven't, since they started watching AEW, they've got to see a little bit of him, and they went back and done some research, so they've heard the stories and everything else about what he did in New Japan, and they're wanting to see all these big names against Kenny Omega. And that being said, how do you put the belt on Adam Page right now?
That is hard.
That's kind of where my mindset is. Now, don't get me wrong. It wouldn't surprise me if they did. They seem to do things that are outside the box. But if you're going to try to get Omega over and move him forward, it's just like it's hard to stop the momentum. I mean, and if they do put the belt on Page, because that's kind of where we got to take it, going up to the pay-per-view. If they do put the belt on Page, in my opinion, it cannot be a decisive. He's got the lariat. What else?
Dusty finish.
Lariat. Roll him up, something. I mean, it's got to be, it's got to be something. To where you can put the belt back on Omega in maybe the same fashion, something a little different, something not to make either one of them look weak. Because again, everybody wants to see Omega against, what in a lot of people's minds, and I know you followed this up, but a lot of people haven't, but in a lot of people's mind, they want to see how Omega can stand up to an actual star. And
the only real star he's faced as far as title defense would have to be Christian Cage. And
again, and this is what I try to get across. It's like, I don't want anybody to think that I'm downing AEW. I try to be, I try to talk from where the casual fan comes. I always like Christian. I loved him better as, part of the tag team, but they broke him up, but I've always liked Christian. But, to the casual wrestling fan that only knew him from WWE, he's a mid-card. He's mid-card at best. Yeah, they put the world title on him, but it was when it didn't mean nothing. They really degraded that title. The only time they really made it out to be anything, was at first when they first split the brands and Bischoff brought it out and gave it to Triple H because Brock was signed exclusively to SmackDown. They put it on Batista.
Reign of Terror.
Yeah, they put it on Batista. I mean, but then they started putting it on. They let Ray win it. They let Christian win it. Some people that just weren't. Where it was obvious that the WWE champion was the
star.
Champion, the star. Like now, like with the WWE title, it's evident that the Universal champion is the star. And, so it's like the casual wrestling fan doesn't see, Christian Cage as a legitimate contender to the quote unquote world champion. And, so if you want to bring these casual fans in, and they're getting a lot more viewers, with the addition of Bryan Danielson, with the addition of CM Punk, and probably soon to be Bray Wyatt. I think, that he's so strange. You never
maybe
know
Braun Strowman.
Yeah, I hear he's talking with Impact, and I read somewhere that relationship's over for a while. That's why the Good Brothers hadn't been on AEW TV in a while, but that's for a different day. But again, I mean, it's the casual fan that's coming in and that has seen Kenny as world champion. They want to see how, the only thing, and that's if they watched it. And again, it was a hell of a match with him and Bryan Danielson, the time limit draw they did. But that's what they're wanting to see. They're not, and then, what Adam Page's downfall as a wrestler right now is his upside as a man, where he took that time off and he went home to see the birth of his kid, which, again, nothing but respect for that. These casual fans that have came over with the debut of CM Punk, the debut of Bryan Danielson, he wasn't there.
Yeah, so it hurt him in the long run.
Well, I mean, I want to say hurt him, but he wasn't there for those casual fans to be going, man, I don't like Kenny Omega, but man, that Adam Page guy's cool. Does that make any sense? No,
I feel you on that. I mean, for the casual fan, yeah. For hardcore AEW fans, they're all behind Adam Page.
No, and I get that, but I'm talking about the bigger picture is what I'm referring to. Because
at the end of the day, a wrestling company is going to make money through the casual fan.
Yeah, and that's where the merchandise comes in. That's where the ticket sales comes in, to where mom and dad want to take their 5 and 6 year olds to see AEW. what I was getting to, one of the things that aggravated the ever loving shit out of me was that was a hell of a promo that Adam Page cut a couple weeks ago when he was talking about cowboy shit and all what cowboy shit meant to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is what people nowadays don't understand. It's not just promos, but it's also the moves. It's like, I'll give you an example. When Shawn Michaels made his return years ago, you know, and he went up against Triple H and decided to stay for a while. You remember what the Office did?
What?
What did the Office tell all the boys when Shawn Michaels came back?
No more super kick.
Exactly. Now, people might say, oh, Shawn Michaels being a dick. No, he's not being a dick. That was his finish. And what you do, if you got everybody and their brother out there throwing super kicks, why should Michaels be any different? Why should his end the match? Why should his beat The Undertaker? Why should his beat Triple H? You get where I'm going with that?
No, that's fair.
I mean, it's like what aggravates me with Tony Khan and AEW sometimes is, you know, you'll see the same thing in 3 different matches. And I pay attention to stuff like that. You know, if you're going to have tables used in a match, it needs, and the WWE is just as bad. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me started. It was like, you know, the Crown Jewel last week. Awful. You know, well, they started off with the Hell in a Cell, and, you know, the cell's supposed to be the selling point on that. And they're using all kinds of weapons and tables and everything else. And then you got Lashley and Goldberg using tables. You can't, you know, especially in the opening match, if you got people putting people through tables in an opening match, you know, what makes it special in the main event? It doesn't. Stuff needs to be protected. And I'm not sure where I'm going with this is I'm not sure who, you know, Chris Jericho, I know has more stroke there than a lot of people, and he knows what's going on. But, and it's little stuff that'll aggravate me. I know you love Jericho for a long time, but he comes out there earlier in the show and he calls Dan Lambert a fat-faced dipshit, right?
Mm-hmm.
He should have been smacked or very highly reprimanded when he got through the curtain.
You think so?
You know why? You know why? Because Adam Page come out there and cut a heartfelt promo. It's the best promo I've ever heard the man do. And it was about cowboy shit. So even though they're saying the word shit on TV now, which they never were able to do, for that kind of a heartfelt promo on why he's coming back and why he's going for the world title, not one person on that show should have used that word the rest of the night. That should have been solely designated for him, because Jericho coming out there and fat-faced dipshit, it takes away from what Adam Cole did. God damn it. Adam Page. It takes away from the shock value. Because like I said, shit hasn't been used on TV until here recently. Yeah. And, you know, so if you're just going to go out there and call somebody a dipshit, and then somebody else later is like, you know, carny face piece of shit or whatever. Okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But when somebody's going to go out there and speak from the heart and tell you what their catchphrase means, and it means to them, you know, saying it over and over again, it should be reserved for that person and that person only, just like a finish. You know, it's like the DDT's been whored out. The super kick has been whored out. And I get times change, but, you know,
moves still hurt.
Well, they do, but I mean, Adam Page did a hell of a job on the promo that night. And if it would have been, you know, maybe Sammy Guevara or hell, even one of, because Hager don't talk, but even one of Santana or Ortiz, I could have, you know, okay, well, but Jericho's been around for almost 30 years and he knows better, you know, and I know he had an idea of what Adam Page was going to go out there and say, because I know, you know, he has a lot of, you know, talking over the scripts and talking over the layouts of the program and everything. And for him to go out there earlier tonight is just, and use that word. And like I said, it's little things that aggravate me and people might disagree, but to use the word shit all over Adam Page's promo, in my opinion, it should have been left for Adam Page and Adam Page alone.
I don't disagree, actually. I really don't, because at the end of the day, I mean, like, using the words at someone like you won't hear like someone when Kurt Angle say it's real, it's damn real. You won't hear somebody saying the word real or it's real, you know? So
that's what I was trying to explain. Well, you know, with the whole Shawn Michaels, it's the best. You know, everybody was all up in arms. Shawn Michaels, such a diva. You know, they don't want the super kick used now. No, it's not that. It's like It's a business and things need to be protected. If everybody's using it, it's no longer a finish.
I don't disagree. So let's talk about Hangman Page's origins in AEW. He won the first Casino Battle Royal to be in the first ever world title match against Chris Jericho at, I believe it was All In, or no, was it Double or Nothing, or is where he won the Casino Battle Royal. It was the next pay-per-view where he challenged Jericho and he came out on a horse. So,
did you see Matt Riddle come out on a fucking camel?
Anyways,
go ahead.
Anyways, so at that, obviously,
I'm sorry. You know why I shook my head on that though?
Why?
You know they had that kid from Saudi Arabia, Mansoor, right?
Yeah.
He took on. Shit. What's his
Ali.
name? Yeah, thank you. If anybody, and I'm not trying to be funny, if anybody should have came out on a damn camel in Saudi Arabia, it's the guy from Saudi Arabia, not fucking Matt Riddle. Are you kidding me? Anyway, continue.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree on that one either. Shit. So, Hangman Page challenged Chris Jericho for the first ever AEW World Championship match, which he lost. And then you saw rifts between him and the Young Bucks because during the match, or before the match, he asked the Young Bucks to come out with him like they had done for Kenny Omega, and they refused. They were like, nah, you got this. And then he felt like he had let everybody down. And you can disagree with me on this if you want, but this is where AEW's long-term storytelling really comes at its best, is with Hangman Adam Page. So he lost it. He decided to start drinking a lot. And the rift became really evident between him and the Young Bucks, which eventually led to him teaming with Kenny. They eventually won the belts. They lost them to FTR. And then after that, we don't need to go over the whole thing that he's done, but like the big things, you know, Full Gear last year, me and Brandon went there live. It was Kenny Omega versus Hangman Adam Page in the finals of the World Title Eliminator Tournament. And Kenny beat Hangman Page that night, which led Kenny on to beating Moxley for the AEW World's Championship. And since then, you've seen Hangman Page's Dark Order, which, you know, it would have been a lot different if Brody Lee was still alive today. But it is what it is now. You know, Brody Lee sadly passed away December 26, 2020. And since then, Hangman has been, you know, an intricate part of the Dark Order. Is he going to join them? Is he not? No, they're just friends. And which all culminated to a 10-man tag team match at Fight for the Fallen, which I was there live. It was Hangman Adam Page and the Dark Order versus the Elite, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and the Good Brothers. And if the Dark Order and Hangman won, they got a tag team title shot and a world title shot. But they lost, which means Hangman had to step down from the top 10 or top 5 or whatever, which all leads us to the Full Gear this year, where a couple weeks ago, Hangman Page returned for the Casino Battle Royal, not Battle Royal, ladder match, and he won, which means his title shot is coming up at Full Gear. Now, I think he's going to beat Kenny Omega just for the fact that Kenny beat him last year. I think Hangman's going to rise to the occasion. But what do you think, Jason?
I don't.
You don't think so?
Nope. And honestly, that whole spiel you just went over, take the Dark Order out of the equation, because like you said, that was a sad thing. And I think they just kind of had to do with them what they had to do. And that's where that came from. But if you take them out of the equation, I don't disagree up to this point between him taking time off with any of the booking that they've done. You know, when Jericho beat him, you know, he had to.
Oh yeah. So I don't disagree with that.
To get the company off the ground, you know, to give them a world champion. Again, it goes back to the casual wrestling fan.
Everybody knows who Chris Jericho is.
Exactly. And he's a legit star over the years. He was one of the, you know, he was the first ever undisputed world champion in WWE, beating The Rock.
He beat Stone Cold and Rock in the same night, and don't you ever forget it.
Exactly. He won't let you forget it.
Hell no.
But again, I don't disagree with that. But the company and this is not a bad thing. This is not a knock on the company. The company was set up for Kenny to be the world champion.
Yes.
Bringing Moxley over, when Dean Ambrose left and went back to being John Moxley and came over, I don't disagree with putting the title on him either.
Because he at that point, like it or not, he was more relevant and more fresh than Chris Jericho. He had been on WWE.
Right. And then to the casual wrestling fan, he did the same thing that Jericho did, which was legitimize their world title.
And once they felt it was legitimized, they put it on their boy, the 7-star match, Kenny Omega. Yes.
Okay. Blah, blah, blah. But again, like I said, the company, in my opinion, with the Elite setting it up, Cody, Kenny, the Bucks, it was always meant to be. Kenny was meant to be the world champion. Then they kind of fell into John Moxley. And in my opinion, they fell into CM Punk. They fell into Bryan Danielson. And this is where, this is where Adam Page gets lost in the shuffle. And so with everything that's happened, and again, with him, he gave up that title shot basically to go home for the birth of his child. That's why him and the Dark Order lost that match.
Yeah.
That was a way to get him out of it and to bring him back in the picture. And, this is where a slippery slope's going to come now, because the people that have tuned in since the emergence of Punk and Bryan Danielson and others, they've seen Kenny as the world champion the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've gotten used to Kenny, and okay, they might think cowboy shit's cool, whatever, but again, Adam Page is still not legitimate to the casual wrestling audience. Now, I love him. I think he's hysterical. I was very happy to see him come out and cut that promo he cut without a drink in his hand. I think they need to get away from that, because it's not an Austin type gimmick for him.
Austin was different than Hangman. That was an alcoholic gimmick for Hangman. Whereas,
right, and that's why I said I was glad. Well, see, I was glad that he didn't have a drink in his hand when he come out and cut the promo. But then last week, after the Ghostbusters bullshit, he winded up having another drink in his hand. So I don't know where they're going to go with that. But again, I would definitely, I would, going forward with Hangman Page, I go into the pay-per-view, I would make them go out there and have the best top tier match they could possibly have. No interference, no gimmicks, whatever, and figure out a way to keep Kenny with the belt on Kenny for these upcoming matches, but to make Page look strong and continue to build him up on TV each and every week and have him out there. You got to get him away from the Dark Order. That's got to stop, because I get the Brody Lee was a tragedy, and the Dark Order would have went a different way if he hadn't passed. And that's a Young Bucks thing. We've talked about that before. So the gimmick's not going anywhere. Yeah. But they're a comedy act. And no disrespect to Brody Lee, but since his passing, they've become the modern day Job Squad. And do you remember the Job Squad?
I do.
Okay. Well, I'll start to say, if you just time, go look them up. They used to come out there. Al Snow, I love the shirt. It had a dude laying on the ground and it said, "Pin me, pay me." That's what was on the shirt. But the Dark Order, them winning the other night with Page's help, it was a feel good moment. Because in all reality, I can't remember the last time they actually won a match. But if you want to legitimize Adam Page to get him on the same level to the casual wrestling fan that's starting to tune in, and every time they sign somebody like a Bryan Danielson or a CM Punk or possibly Bray Wyatt and some of these other guys they may bring in, if the casual wrestling fan sees the commercial with that guy's picture on, and it was the same way when, WCW got all those viewers to tune in and come over from Raw to watch Nitro. It was like, oh, the WWE guys are on Nitro. Oh, this is cool. And they started flipping back and forth, and, the WCW had a cooler show and they had a better opening card, but the other stuff was more interesting, and WWE honestly was putting on a better product at the time. The in-ring stuff.
Yeah, but much better product.
But again, yes, I agree with everything they've done with Adam Page, minus the Dark Order. They've got to get him away from them. Ugh. and and continue to build him. And you can't let him go out there and drop matches and this, that, and the other. I mean, they need to continue to build him up and make him look strong. And then a year down the road, once you continue to build him, get him away from the Dark Order, and Kenny's had time to wrestle Punk, he's had time to wrestle Bryan, and anybody else that's out there that the fans want to see that's going to sell pay-per-views. Because right now they don't have, and this is what you got to understand. This is why they need the casual wrestling fan. They don't have the cock or the network, whatever. They have to sell pay-per-views. Yes. And Adam Page is a world champion right now in the main event. Every single pay-per-view till he drops the title is not going to do that.
I don't disagree with you. I do think he needs a little bit more building, but where I disagree is I do think he needs to somehow walk out with the title at Full Gear. Now, with that being said, it doesn't have to be a clean win. It could be a dusty finish. But I think Full Gear, he needs to walk out with the belt.
Yeah, well, that's why we're here. So agree to disagree.
So let's go. Okay, we are. What is today? Today is
the 29th.
The 29th of October. The what is it? It's like 2 weeks away, 2.5 weeks away.
I think the pay-per-view is on the 13th.
13th, because we're going on the 17th, which is that Wednesday, which is a Rampage and a Rampage taping and a live Dynamite. So, Jason, how would you book the next 2.5 weeks until Full Gear? And what would you do at Full Gear?
The next 2.5 weeks for me, this is pretty simple. You continue to build Adam Page.
Does he wrestle at all until then?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. You let him come out and this goes back to being old school wrestling. You let him come out and, interrupt Kenny's interviews. If Kenny wrestles in a 6-man or an 8-man or 10-man or even a singles, let him come out and get the best of Kenny where it looks like him winning the world title is a lock. And you get him to the pay-per-view. Kenny screws him after a great match. And then you start the process of, Hangman had him beat, but the referee was down, whatever. Bucks came out, distracted him. However you want to do it, as long as the match, and whatever the finish is, AEW, Tony Khan, if you're listening, please God, don't do it before that match. Don't use the same finish 3 times on the same show. Make it whatever you do, if it's outside interference, if it's a table, if it's a chair, if it's a chain, leave it for the main event. Don't have it in the damn opening segments. I hate to say, be more like Vince used to be, but grow some balls, man. Tell these guys, hey, this is my show. This is what's happening in the main event. Don't fucking do it in your match, period. And then, again, but I'm steadfast with this. I would keep the title on Kenny, but making Adam look strong. And then eventually, yes, I think he deserves a title, just not now.
So you do not have Hangman Page walking out of Full Gear with the AEW's World Championship.
If Bryan Danielson and CM Punk hadn't signed with it, I'd say yes, I did. But now that these new people have came in and there's more places for Kenny to go, that will attract more eyes. With Kenny as world champion, defending against some of the bigger names that people know, and that's nothing against Adam Page.
He's still relatively new.
Shawn Michaels was, in a tag team that, well, they won the WWF tag team titles once, but
it never went to television.
Because the rope broke. But Shawn Michaels was in a tag team for 10 years before, he got his singles push, and then, they had to build him up. Winning the Intercontinental title with Sherry and then with Diesel and, everything else of that nature. So it's, and I use Michaels as a comparison because they're about the same size. They work a lot alike. Michaels flew around a little bit more, but, again, you got to build him up in the eyes. And I'm coming from a business standpoint. From a personal standpoint, from the guy taking time off to go home and see the birth of his kid and some other stuff, I'd love to see the title go on. That's a man that, deserves a reward at the end of the day. But I think even if you sat down behind the scenes and asked Adam Page if he thought the right thing to do was to put the title on him right now that you have Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, and possibly a few other people coming over, no, I don't think he would agree with that. I don't think he would say he should have the title right now. So no, I don't see him walking out. Things could change, but that's no, you gotta make him look strong. Don't get me wrong, but no, Kenny will keep the title.
Okay, so that's how you would book Full Gear. Our Hangman Page up to Full Gear. I agree with you. I don't think he should wrestle the next 2 weeks. They haven't really done any contract signings on AEW, and I don't know if they should start now, but it would be interesting to see what Hangman Page and Kenny Omega have to say back and forth to each other.
The best contract signing I've seen in a while was that one they did with the triple threat with Becky Lynch having her own table just in the rampway. She wasn't getting in the ring. That was hysterical.
Yeah, no, that was pretty good. I thought you were going to say the best one was Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns when he go, yeah, I read it with my advocate, Paul Heyman this morning.
No, that was pretty good. But Brock, again, Brock's not doing what Becky is. Brock's, you got to get, and that's good. They're booking him the right way. You got to keep Brock's words short and sweet because he don't have Heyman right now. Yeah, that was what Brock did was funny. But, Becky coming out and having her, like when Sasha and Bianca were in the ring together and Becky's got her own table on the rampway. Big time Bex has her own table. It was funny. I mean, because Becky on the mic's just been gold lately.
Yeah, she's been good. That's I don't watch WWE, like I don't watch Raw or SmackDown. I watch the highlights on YouTube, and she's honestly been great.
I fast forward through what I want to see. So
that's fair. So I would book Hangman Page contract signing. Not next week, but the week after. But this coming up week, I would have him at least come out with the Dark Order, maybe a 6-man tag, Elite and Kenny versus Dark Order. I don't know, with Hangman Page on the outside and Adam Cole on the outside. Do something. I don't know. Something along those lines, but at Full Gear, have Hangman Page beat Kenny Omega. Ref gets knocked down, then Hangman hits the buckshot lariat, pins him, but Kenny's foot is on the rope, but it's already 3. And then we see next week I'm going a little bit into the future, but the week of that Dynamite that we're going to, have Tony Khan come out and be like, look, dude, you didn't beat him, bro. You got to give the title back. And in my opinion, it shows, hey, Hangman Page had him beat except for the foot, and it makes him a bigger babyface in the long run. Agree or disagree?
Do you realize what you just proposed is the same reason Chris Benoit left WCW?
Is it?
When he beat Sid Vicious for the title, he had him in the crossface and Vicious was tapping out.
Mm-hmm.
But Vicious's leg was under the rope and the referee didn't see it. And Benoit already knew going forward to the next day they were going to do basically what you just said. And you know what he did when he got in the dressing when he got through the curtain?
Threw the title down and quit.
No, he threw the title in the trash can and kept walking.
Jesus. It all depends on how you do things. I think it could work for Hangman Page as a babyface character. Agree or disagree?
I mean, it could, but again, and like I said, you got to understand where I'm coming from, what I want for Adam Page. I want more for Adam Page than that, and I want more for the long run because, like I said, and I know you like the Dark Order, and like I said, they're to me the modern day Job Squad for the casual wrestling fans who take him seriously. And Adam Page's name at the top of the marquee to sell pay-per-views, you got to get him away from him. You got to send them in a different direction. I mean, that's to say if he wins the title that they can't come out and celebrate with him with the rest of the locker room. No, of course not. If he's in the back walking one day while they're doing an interview and he wants to pat one of them on the bottom and say good luck or whatever, because there is history for the AEW fans. But as far as him tagging with them and them coming out to save him and him coming out to save them, it's got to stop.
So you're saying they have to get away from the Dark Order and Hangman Page? He's got to get away from them. Okay. I mean, that's our opinions on Hangman Adam Page going up to Full Gear. But guys, leave us a review. Let us know what you think of Hangman Adam Page. And guys, if you're going to be in Virginia, November 20th for VA Comic-Con, your boy will have his first official table by himself at the Comic-Con. I might have some stuff to sell, might have some stuff to give away, guys, but I want to see you there.
He mad at me because I got to work.
I'm a little salty. It could have been his first Comic-Con. You know, with as many Comic-Cons as I've been to, and it's a lot, he has never been to one.
I'm old, boring.
I wish I had a sound effect button to go boo.
Come on, Mr. Producer. Where's your sound effect button?
I don't know. I don't have one of those. That'd be nice though.
You know you can install those, right? You can even download it. You can even download a sound app on your iPad and have it hooked through the board.
Oh, I can. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Later.
Wow.
Who knew?
Electricity goes on.
Anyways.
But anything to add?
Nope, that's it, guys. We do have merchandise up. If you want to go support the podcast, go to my Instagram at Chris Ingram 335. I did have to change it for for marketing reasons, I guess is the term.
I'm just me, brother. You can follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, J. Brandon Ingram. You can send me an email to j.brandoningram@gmail.com, and he's got 400 of them. What's one you using these days?
Christian Ingram YT@gmail.com.
YT. What's that?
YouTube, man.
No, I don't know. I mean, CM, Chick Mag, and I'm YT. I don't know if it's
Cookie
like
Monster.
Young Thick. I didn't know. All right. So you all, that's what you got for Adam Page, right?
That is what I have for Adam Page.
All right. Well, in the case of Adam Page going through full gear in the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, that's how we'd book it. See you next time.